What's going on, Fightful friends and fans? Tempest is here representing Fightful, of course, and I'm here with the man himself, the AEW International Champion, Orange Cassidy, at the All In Media Scrum. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, Orange.
No problem.
Well, let me get on your level a little bit before we continue.
Oh, you know how to do it, too. You know how to put them in the eye holes.
Oh, this isn't my first rodeo.
I was going to say, some people just don't get it.
Well, first of all, I want to take the time, of course, to thank you for doing this. We're about to go to Wembley Stadium, the biggest show in AEW history. What is it like for someone like you, one of the only indie talent that we have gotten a chance to speak to today who is going to be wrestling on the show, to go from working an unbelievable amount of different promotions? You look at his cage match profile, there's promotion upon promotion. To go from wrestling for promotions like that to going in to Wembley Stadium, maybe the biggest wrestling show of all time.
Yeah, I don't think about it. I actually don't think about it. I just do what I have to do. I think if I think about it too much or too long, like I'm one of those people where I just like kind of like get lost. But if I just take it day to day and I keep next thing, the next thing, the next thing, and just stay consistent, good things happen. However, if you look back, there's like, there's like, what, 50 people, 100 people I'm wrestling in front of, then 200, then 300, you like 1,000. You do like 5,000. And then what, like Grand Slam in Arthur Ashe was like 20-something thousand. And then you jump to 80,000. I don't know where that leap happened, but it is incredible that, and it's our first time in the UK. I don't want to speak for you people, but
I'm a Canadian.
You're a Canadian.
Those people,
yeah. Those people, not you. Because we've been to Canada. This is our first time, and I think they all been waiting for this. And I think we decided to, all you that were waiting, let's just all put you in one place. So that's what we're doing. But no, I've been fortunate enough to wrestle in the UK a couple of times, and they got some. Those UK fans, they got some good chants. They know what's up.
Well, speaking of the UK, one of the matches that I most wanted to talk to you about was the match that you had at Forbidden Door last year against Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, of course, wrestling on this show against Chris Jericho. What can you not only say about the match that you had, what a lot of people called the best match of that show, an incredibly stacked card, but seeing what he's about to do going into this show against Jericho?
I don't know if you guys all know this, or I don't know if all you know this, but Will Ospreay's really good at professional wrestling.
Write that down.
So but let's take a note of that, because here's a fun fact. He's really good at professional wrestling. I was injured. Keith Lee threw me out of the ring onto other people, and I separated my shoulder, and I was out for like 3.5 months. I didn't like that. I didn't like not having control over what I can do, because usually I do whatever I want to do, and I couldn't because my shoulder was hurt. And an opportunity came up for me to wrestle Will Ospreay, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. But a lot of people were like, well, why Orange Cassidy wrestling Will Ospreay? Why are we going to waste Will Ospreay on Orange Cassidy? So I said to myself, oh, you'll see why. And I thought I really wanted to win, obviously. But like I said, he's very, very good. So I think that I just like to show people that they don't know everything, and that I can do stuff when I want. But it was that, yeah, of course Will should be doing this. Will should be in main events all the time. This is appropriate. This makes sense.
Now, one of the things that I wasn't given a lot of direction regarding this scrum, representing Fightful, of course, for Sean Ross Sapp. Sorry you couldn't make it here, Sean. Late flights and all. But he did give me one piece of direction regarding this interview in particular, and that was he wanted me to ask you about video that exists of you on the street with a giant fish. I don't know how familiar you are off the top of your head, but he needs that to be walked through a little bit, because I've seen it. It's a hell of a video.
No comment. That's for another time. If he wants that answer, he's gonna ask me himself. How about that?
Fair
Is
play.
that good? I don't
Yeah,
want to put you on the spot. It's not your responsibility.
Absolutely not. Someone else I do want to ask you about, though, is someone you have an incredible amount of history with, that being Kris Statlander. Both in AEW and previous, you guys have traded the IWTV and Independent Championship back and forth, and now both of you are having runs as the champions, respectively, the International and TBS champion. You, of course, have been doing an amazing job with that title over the last year almost, and now she's just getting started with her reign. What is it like for both of you to now be able to hold championships on national TV together?
I mean, it's a little awkward when we're all hanging around eating dinner with me, Chris, Chuck, and Trent, and we have championships and they don't. I think it's lighting a little fire under those boys' butts because they're looking for something. But it is nice that Chris and I can kind of lean on each other or talk to each other, and because she's under a lot of pressure, obviously, right? The TBS champion, the first person to actually pin Jade Cargill, the person to have the championship after Jade, and then I was the person to beat Pac and then take this All Atlantic Championship to the International Championship, and obviously I've had it longer than Chris has had the TBS championship, but the same pressures are still there, right? It's like, how can I be the best champion I possibly could be? Me, it's easy. I just do what I have. I'm just gonna do it. Like I'm just gonna wrestle and whatever. That's whatever. But for her, there is that pressure. There is that am I worthy of this? And for us to be able to lean on each other and just be like reassurance that no, you're good, and then she'd be like, you're good. So that's what we have. That's our relationship.
Hell yeah. Another quick thing I wanted to ask you about is your come up in the wrestling business, where I know Tony Khan has talked about this, but maybe some people wouldn't know that you spent a lot of time wrestling in Chikara under a mask as Fire Ant. What is it like to have two completely different characters, two completely different wrestling styles that you have to kind of try and cultivate at this, maybe not at the exact same time, but definitely in your mind you have to go either back and forth depending on who you're wrestling as, especially when they are so incredibly different?
You're going to be wildly disappointed with this answer. But I don't know what you're talking about. But I will say that I do know a lot of things. I know how to, I said this before, and it really doesn't make sense to most people, but I choose to show you what I want to show you when I want to show it. Because if I showed you everything, then you would know everything. So I keep it all, I sprinkle it on when I need to. That's a very vague answer because I don't know who Fire Ant is.
Who did he ever beat? Well, I thank you very much for your time, March. Thank you very much for watching. Everybody make sure to check out All In at Wembley Stadium AEW pay-per-view this Sunday. This is the All Atlantic, formerly known as the All Atlantic champion, now the international champion, going into Stadium Stampede, one of the most chaotic matches you will see this weekend. So make sure you don't mitch it. Mitch it? Yeah, don't shoot move. Blah, blah, blah. I've lost the train of thought. It's fine. Thank you very much for your time, Orch.
Thank you.
I've often talked about how much of a pay-per-view buyer I am. Take that any way you want it. But I'll tell you how I take it. NordVPN.com/Fightful. Fastest VPN on the planet, global server network, all that good stuff. That's great. But a big reason why I got NordVPN.com/Fightful is all the pay-per-views I buy, all the money we're spending. We're trying to control costs as a company, as a household. You can get those UFC pay-per-views at a fraction of the price you're paying here in America. Plus, you can get all kinds of great content that you wouldn't normally see thanks to those services as well. Shows that are on overseas services, things that you want to watch a little bit early so you get on that UK time and watch them. Being able to change the interfaces of things like the WWE Network. Maybe you don't like Peacock, anything like that. NordVPN.com/Fightful gives you that ability while having the fastest VPN on the planet. Also, you just get so much more out of your internet experience with NordVPN.com/Fightful. Subscribe to Fight. And AEW Plus, watch AEW without commercials. Watch bare knuckle boxing. Watch UFC pay-per-views, boxing pay-per-views at the rates they're getting over in the UK. Change your virtual location with just one click. And hey, if you need any help using it, they got that 24/7 tech support. NordVPN.com/Fightful.